Hello viewers, I welcome you in today's episode of Career Guidance. Sudarshan Kendra Shillong brings you back-to-back episodes on career guidance to help you clear your paths and clear your doubts and confusion as well. Today, we're here at Ramakrishna Mission to help you create your path towards building your career. Ramakrishna Mission, a well-renowned mission founded by the great Swami Vivekananda, spreading its center across India and abroad, and also it is the only center in the whole northeastern region for Microsoft certification acknowledged by Microsoft Corporation. To give us more insight, we have with us Swami Hitakamananda, who is the Secretary of Ramakrishna Mission Shillong, and we're privileged to be doing this episode with him. Well, Swamiji, I welcome you very much into this episode of Career Guidance.
Welcome to DD team for coming forward to bring to the notice of the students community our activities.
Well, going straight forward with the Career Guidance program, Swamiji, can you just brief us about the history or the establishment of Ramakrishna Mission here in Shillong?
The history of establishment of Ramakrishna Mission Shillong dates back to 1924, when a monk of Sylhet district, who had some known persons who were long associating with Khasis and almost they got indigenized. They stayed here, make matrimony here, and they occasionally went to go to that Sylhet to work a puja, etc. At that time they expressed, why can't you organize one here? So that is how at Shela in 1924 it started. But Swamiji's main intention was to spread education among these people. When that time it was very much neglected. So that is how it started. From there it shifted to Nangwar. Still it was not resourceful area. So they shifted to Sora, and the Rangbashnong allotted space there. So there the activity started. But still this resource has to come from Shillong, because that time it was the capital of undivided Assam. And almost most important offices, resourceful persons, well-wishers of mission was here. So that is how the first center was started here in 1937. And Shela Center, then Nangwar and both Sora, they were part of this center. Then after some 7-8 years, it became an independent center. So first official center was in Ramakrishna Mission Shillong in 1937. But origination work started in 1924. That is how this center exclusively lived on healthcare and regular religious and other thing among the adherents. Cherrapunji exclusively devoted itself in spreading education. And still they are doing that in a very major way. That is how.
All right, Swamiji, apart from healthcare, you also mentioned that spreading education is also one of the main objectives. As we know that Ramakrishna Mission has its Shillong Center when it comes to diploma courses, computer courses. We know that it is a famous one, but then can you just brief us about the courses available to your Ramakrishna Center?
The activity started in a very small way in the year around 2002 with only teaching basic computing. And that time we tried to align the courses as per the government curriculum or the ITI curriculums that are. We found students are dropping out very much, but it was not suiting their need the way they wanted. Because most of the students are found alongside their higher education, they wanted to take advantage of these courses, because in the most of the colleges, though there are a few computers, practice facility and other things are not enough. So then we started actually we developed a different model, same basic course, we meant it 2-month schedule for each small courses. Basic courses are divided into first beginners, then intermediate, then advanced. Then some professional courses like Tally, programming and other things started. And we arranged the courses to suit student schedule. Somebody could attend courses just before their college begins, somebody when they are on holidays, and somebody at other time in after college, up to evening. So, right from morning 8 to evening 7:30, there are 3-4 shifts it goes on. Moreover, extra time practicing facility, other things. Equal importance is given for both practice and others. So, if we divide all the courses minutely, there are about 17 modules. But students in advanced courses are comparatively very less, small number. But in Tally we have good enrollment. But in other courses, in learning languages like the Python, Java and other things, their students are less, but they are there. Total courses are around 17 or 18 courses are in book. Alongside, for improvement of communication skill, etc., we have added some language courses. It is in Kharsi, Hindi and English both, but we find English takers are more. Comparatively, Kharsi is not that much wanted, Hindi a very small number. So, in this way, we are catering to almost about 20-21 course modules.
All right. So, in total, as you mentioned, it is overall 20 to 21 courses available, and the timings are flexible as well. So, what about the the fees? Is it affordable or feasible by everyone?
As far as I want, this fees term is our courses, as you understand from the demand.
Yes.
It is within the limits of accessibility of most of the students. Alongside that, we always keep eye on the behavior, movement, dressing and all other things.
Yes.
This is almost unseen, it is worst. And we feel, no, that the background is very poor. We give subsidies also.
Okay.
And those who are meritorious, we give some subsidies. And sometimes if the course, almost all the 5 terms of courses, almost 5 modules they successfully continues. We give them free computer also, working computer, so that they start something on their own with a short pledge that they should help in their area,
Yes.
other students to learn computers. So, this is how we go. Our fees range is more or less 2,000, 2,500, less than 3,000. That is mostly our courses. It runs. Among that, this GST and other things, all these things we have to give. But recently, after getting NSDC approval, at least we have got rid of that thing.
Okay.
So, because of subsidized things, even we feel that we are not able to give our faculties sufficient remuneration, but we are trying to improve it in as many ways as possible.
And you also did mention earlier that you have more of enrollment in Tally and other courses, especially Tally. So why do you think there's more enrollment in Tally as compared to other courses available at your center?
I think Tally has an added advantage. First, to work comfortably on Tally, you learn to learn office package very handle, particularly Excel handling unit master. Nowadays, government is going more and more for digitization. So, running a common service center in a village or rather remote area or in a sub-town or in a block town where banking and other facilities are not there, and everybody has a bank account and everything, direct benefits are given to the bank account. So, these small units, if they are enthusiastic and they don't run after, even they can run on their own. They can, if they have good communication skill, they can do correspondence for a number of business. So, actually they can attend to private clients at the same time. People, plenty of NGOs are working, they can handle their accounts. I think they find Tally learning for doing easy, they have more job opportunities.
Yeah, more
that
job
may
opportunities.
be one of the reasons.
Yes. Is there any age bar for admission into your courses, and what are the admission procedures?
Actually, we prefer students 15 years and above. At least 9th to 10th standard they should be there. College students, those who are studying, we prefer them. So, generally we try to keep the age bar within 15 to 25. But we allow even up to 35, 40 years of people. It is something like on-demand course type. If suppose they have a short period and within that if the number of students are at least 5, we ask them, if you can get 3 or 4 or 5 of you, then we can design a special course, extensive course, rather crash course type, so that the things you want to master, we can give the type with practice and theory, we can give it. So for that we have to arrange a separate group of teachers, but it rarely happens. But most of the cases, the students are within 15 to 25, 30, that is the age group generally. Okay. So we have no bar as such for advanced age people to learn.
Okay, there's no age bar particularly.
No,
and
yeah, that
can you give us more details about the course in demand you were talking about?
A small section now there are more, because in Meghalaya overall we have noticed the students are generally found very weak in maths and other things. As a result, advanced courses which need mathematical skill and other things, for that I think demand is less, though they understand it is necessary. Okay. So the language and programming courses we are finding very small number of people. That is the main issue. Otherwise, more or less, some people we find this a small amount of dropout problems are there, because some people even after beginner's course they don't try to proceed further.
Yes.
These are actually depend upon the tenacity and general intelligence of the people. We try to make things as early as possible. Moreover, we don't want that anybody should drop out. So they have scope for giving re-examinations once or twice, even after the normal session is over, they are incompetent, found incompetent, we give them chances. On extra days, beyond certain limits, with a small amount of fee, they can come and extensively practice in our labs.
Okay.
That option, even on Sundays if they want, we make that available. The biggest plus point perhaps the students like our courses is teachers actually practically guide them very much, going from one to one, table to table. Yes. I think you have already seen our classrooms.
Yes, we have witnessed that.
Each and all are all-in-one computer is a little bit costly. So, but we provide them, and they go on supervising who is doing what, who is getting stuck up. But some people are shy; they are not talking their problems, but are struggling. Teachers themselves go and help them. So this is something which we get feedback from students that they appreciate.
Well, Swamiji, that was a very interesting initiative taken by you all, say by Ramakrishna Mission as a whole, because you also give opportunity even to students for re-examination, give them a kind of motivation and encouragement as well. So moving on to the next question, there's also a course available for children between the age of 7 to 13 years. Can you give us more detail on the courses available for children?
Actually, we have a very interesting section. That class opens on holidays, especially on Sundays. Okay. One for junior group, another for senior group. The junior group we call them Samskriti group, and in senior group we call them this Hitakamananda Youth Forum, where alongside encouraging them with the computer skills, even for youngsters also we give them programs just to make them interested in telling. Some students show exceptional expertise in, because of the mobile and other things, they show exceptional proficiency in handling. So this designing, graphing, these type of things students pick up very fast. So these Sanskrit children who are actually grouped as a separate group of lot, and they study in different schools. On Sundays they come, and a part of their training we teach them a little bit of Sanskrit, traditional stories, local culture of Meghalaya, then culture about the India as a whole, and the basic of Indian civilization, all this, giving a sort of nationalistic orientation. They should know that they are part of the big whole. So, because our course's time is very short, and there are several sessions. We cannot give any this type of teaching for our normal students who are coming for learning computer. But this course has tremendous scope. So it is the art, there are art training also, and there is a very good enrollment. Suppose I was given that day in last year only, last academic session, we had almost 6,180 total students, out of which 5,900 something they was in computer training.
Okay.
For language training, next enrollment, then art training, next enrollment. And the Sanskrit children, they are also involved with both art training and basics of computing for youngsters, the particular age group you are asking for.
Okay.
So this is also another attraction, and boys love to do it very much.
So we can term this special courses, like you did mention about the Sanskriti group and also about the youth forum,
Youth forum
right?
group.
So we can term these as a speciality of Ramakrishna Mission, like it's a little different
Yes,
with the
particularly.
compared to other
Suppose
different
this is
institutes.
set of magazines you are saying, this is a magazine which the conception was working on, but called Kajing Shai, the light,
Yes.
or in Hindi it is.
Yes.
It is a trilingual magazine. It is e-zine actually. So you can listen what the articles, listen the articles, because the audio version is also included.
Okay.
At the same time, you can read the English and Hindi versions as well. So limited copies we only print just for giving to dignitaries and others, but it is mainly available online from our website. This is meant just to make the rest of India know about the Khashi culture, the culture of Meghalaya, culture of Northeast as a whole, and then two issues are there in every year, and then alongside that acquainting indigenous people about the culture of the rest of India and the other parts of the world. So we can say it is an extended part of the Sanskriti education,
Yes.
or the cultural education for the adults.
Okay, that's an interesting part.
This
And
is an specialty, and Mr. Raphael, Raphael Varjeri
Yes, Raphael
and
Varjeri.
others, is all this. Most of the cover designs are done by him only.
all right.
And there are some cartoon type things are there, where folk tales we illustrate.
Okay.
So
you mentioned about the book, The Light, the Jingshai, right?
Huh.
So we will, of course, have a look at that. But then as for now, Swamiji, I also have a very inquisitive knowing, how is your center coping up with the competition?
this is an important issue. Actually, when I asked the questionnaire, there is a questionnaire keeping it, what about the placement and other possibilities
Yes,
that
placement,
you are
internship
interested in.
programs.
The question is, this is the area where we are still working upon, because we have noted a very peculiar tendency, not only here. I was working for 8.5 years in Tripura, same type. People, they don't want to move out of this state.
Yes.
This tendency to go outside and work is very less. Even we worked very hard in 6-7 states, several times we got appointment, but almost 10% only agreed, rest of the people didn't
For the
respond.
placement.
But here we didn't try that much, but we have working on it. If we can create a placement cell through which we can find more employment. So this is an area where we are deficient. I have no
Okay, so you're
hesitance
still
to
working
accept.
on the placement, and
Yes,
also
this placement
what
cell.
about internship?
Internship, actually, the benefit of this institution or the specialty of the institution is, we always select teachers who are groomed by us,
Okay.
who are associated with here, and because we are handling a lot of students, we mark them, their temperament, how they are comfortable with this environment and our dealings and other things.
Yes.
From them we first give them 6 months, 1 year or 2 months or even 3 years, and we can lighter works, we get it done through them. And when they set up, when the faculties improve, naturally they go for better chances.
Yes.
We replace them from this intern group and promote them to teachership.
Alright.
That is how most of our teachers are our ex-students.
Okay.
So they are fully acquainted with the environment, the way of working and all other things.
So basically, when basically you select a student from your center, and it's not just on the academic marks or percentage, merit list, I mean, but it's overall.
Overall.
Okay.
On the overall basis, yes, yes.
And as a center, particularly as a Ramakrishna Mission Shillong Center, what is the biggest challenge that you face in facing the youth today?
With the youth, the biggest thing is that this, as I told you, one problem is this a small number of dropouts. We don't want, when we are giving the scope for re-examination, calling, and through the teachers who are, we are trying to get them why they dropped out, etc. This is one way. Another thing, we think a section of students, they come here, but they are not very enthusiastic about it, maybe due to guardians' insistence or something they come, and that is why they don't want to contribute. Moreover, we feel that students here have very lesser exposure to what is happening in other parts of India. As a result, they are not ambitious. The lack of ambition is the biggest challenge that we face in students in Meghalaya. Because when you see something better happening, or happening in a more systematic manner and way of living and other things, here people seems to be very easily satisfied. Actually, unless you have a hunger for learning more, seeing more, improving more, this type of thing. So that is lacking.
And as an institution, as you know that this is what the youth today lack, ambitions, what is that you try to do from your end to help the youth in molding them or shaping them?
Our main focus is we project Swamiji as a youth icon, and we take pride in the heritage or the legacy he left behind. And he wanted education to be a source of self-reliance. It should develop respect for himself and respect for all others. It should allow it encourage people to live a life that is not in conflict with the interest of others. Everyone needs and must be rich, prosperous, but he should not try to reach his target by hurting others. This basic thing, growing together, that Sangachadam, Sangvatadam, etc., as our Vedic teaching says, let us grow together, let us think together, let us unify together, let us put our efforts together and grow together. Not vertical growth, but horizontal development, and living in conformity with others, irrespective of the difference of opinion, choices, etc. This is the attitude with which is to try to develop the students. And alongside that, we try to make them, whenever scope rises, like small programs that we conduct, we invite different resource persons to give them an idea about how big, great and much better things are going on abroad. So you come here. If I had enough money, every year I should have taken at least 50 to 60 students to move through the rest of the parts of the India at different times to see how the rest of the India is progressing and why we are lagging behind, and we have all the talents, only we need to exert themselves. That's what I feel very often.
I truly agree with you. Exposure visit is very, very important.
The exposure to better things arouse the curiosity and a kind of need in you.
Do you also provide any sort of scholarship for meritless student or for anyone who is say who comes from.
I have a very
PWD.
interesting story to share about this particular aspect. Actually, we have a small group created from the ex-students. The name of this group is Lend Thy Hand. If you have somebody even staying near Quinton, you will see some of them are cleaning the campus today around. They do it voluntarily.
Okay.
Through them, we try to get into the actual financial situation of the students. If we know that a student is coming from a financial background, coming interior area, somehow difficultly he is staying in Shillong and getting education, we try to subsidize her fees, some textbooks, and if he is shown a proficiency, then we gift him computer also at the end of the work. But there is a term, you must consecutive 5 sessions you must continue.
Okay.
If that is there, we encourage them. Then from the Umkawe, the Lingyang side, there is an area where we have a small integrated child development program. We call it Gadadhar Abhyuday Prakalpa. Gadadhar is the name of Sri Ramakrishna as a young boy, in his name. From there, I think a batch of about 15 or 20 girls, we trained them in computer, and one of them has started a computer center there, some name Diangti or something, I forgot it. So he has started, now he has about 20 students. Other than the computer he donated, she has procured another 4. And sometimes we replace older version of computer and get the latest one so that the students can work. Suppose we are now moving to mostly this Windows 10, the earlier ones are Windows 7, but they are all working computers. At a very almost throwaway price we give them, they use it and do it and work on it. So in this way we encourage people to stand on their own. So scholarship, this whole batch of 15 students scholarship, we actually arranged on a sponsor from Bangalore.
Okay.
And that lady from her organization sponsored the whole course expenses of this batch of 15 students.
Right.
Previously we are trying to, the computer on wheels, in a suppose 13-seater or 14-seater van with laptops, we used to go to 3-4 points in different villages and teach computer there. But that scheme didn't seem to be very feasible, so we have stopped it. And due to Corona, we had a lot of financial loss. We never, what I can say, relieved any staff. Almost we paid their whole money during the Corona period, and whatever reserves we created, they all got depleted during this period. But we are not bad about it. Now it is picking up. So we give whenever possible. If needy students are there, we are always there, either in the form of subsidy. And some of our well-wishers, they also subsidize partially some needy students' fees if we approach them. So the provision is there, but only we want to sure they are enthusiastic, and then only. Otherwise, needy people are plenty around you. That should not be. The men who will utilize the subsidy given to him or her, we want to be sure about that. Then we are ready to help them.
All right. So it is mostly based on meritless.
Yes, exactly.
Meritless, and also who comes from PWD students.
Yes.
Or we have someone who is
economically
background students.
Suppose some people they need help, but they are shy about talking about it.
Yes.
But we try to find them out through this small group of Lend Thy Hand group.
Yes.
And groom, and then other kind of help. But we always prefer to help people in standing on their own feet.
Yes.
That is our main interest. We try to give that sort of benefit. Otherwise, this patch up relief work, it creates the begging habit of people. This is not at all encouraged.
Yes.
Swami Vivekananda himself was against it. You help the person in a way that after some time he won't need help, rather he will help others. So that's an attitude we try to follow.
Do you also have any hostel facilities?
No, we don't have any hostel facilities for the computer students. We have a hostel facility for tribal students, that is in this campus, Ashrama campus. There are 26 students whose expense as we get from the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, that also most of it when as arrears later we get. 26 students approval we have. And the 50% or almost 60% we spend for them. Their food, expense, everything we bear.
Right.
There. So some of them, they come from nearby states also and some from Meghalaya.
Okay.
This is the only hostel facility. But for the students learning computer there, we don't have any hostel facility.
Okay, it's just for the ashram here. So my last question for you before we wind up the session, Swamiji, if you have any message, to share to the youths or to anyone who's watching this program, you could share your views and thoughts.
The biggest thing I have, the request I told to the young people, but world is our fingertips now, and most of them, even as a child, they are comfortable with the computer, mobiles and other things. So they should try to learn, use these skills in learning better things, higher things, noble things, which are available at plenty. And specifically, they should be open-minded and not only listen to any one particular group, but listen to their opposite groups also, form a distinct opinion of their own, and they must learn to be patriotic, to be cooperative, to learn peacefully with everybody around us, irrespective of their personal beliefs or whatever is contained. So that is the message we want, and they should be especially critical about being guided by, as Jesus used to call it, beware of false prophets. So they should apply their judgment. They shouldn't take anything just on face value, but they should be inquisitive, investigative, and they will make a free choice. This is what we tell always to our students. And if they take little care in studying the works of Swami Vivekananda, they will get a lot of inspirational materials from him to make their life more successful, more meaningful, more value-based.
Well, I completely agree with you, Swamiji. Well, Swamiji, that was a very refreshing segment, and I thank you again for sparing your valuable time, and I'm sure that this episode will pave way to many aspiring youths.
I am extremely glad, and I am grateful that Doordarshan has taken this initiative to give a rather clearer view about what we do and how we do to our young minds, who will guide this state and the nation in days to come.
Well, viewers, we have come to the end of today's episode, and we'll be meeting again on the next episodes of Career Guidance, winding this program with a quote by Swami Vivekananda. Remember, you are the creator of your own destiny, so make sure to create one. Till then, keep watching Doordarshan Canada Shillong.